It me, da Doom. Welcome to the hall. Welcome back to my third installment of my review of armies in Middle-earth SPG. So I'm reviewing my personal favorite army of all time, Erebor Reclaimed. I've had quite a bit of experience playing with this army, and a bit of experience playing against it as well. So I'll be going into the pros and cons now. The first pro is Dane. Dane Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills, really, similarly with the Iron Hills, he holds the army together and really becomes the army. He adds an excellent general because he's hard to kill. He has the most survivable mount outside of monstrous mounts. Defense 6, 2 wounds, so very hard to kill. He's fight 6, 3 attacks, he's 3 will, 3 fate, 3 wounds, 3's in all the right places, which makes him incredibly hard to kill or even be beaten back by winning the fight. And people often take a long time to kill him and find him very hard to kill. So he's an excellent general. He's also an amazing leader, making your Iron Hills dwarves as well as your Iron Hills dwarf captains pretty much fearless, except that they can still shield, so it's even better than fearless within 12 inches of Dane. In addition, he's also great at killing enemy troops and heroes with fight 6 and then strength 5 and +1 to wound. So he can really easily kill even defense 7 heroes who, are unfortunate enough to get charged while they're on foot. Dane, 8 dice needing 4s to kill them. As well as he has a hammer, so he can knock Felbeast over, Radagast on Eagle over, so even if he couldn't, you have the chance to just knock them off the mount. This is very handy against the Undying, because, they just knock them off. It also means you have a non-lethal strike if you need to keep the enemy from being 25%ed. The next major pro is the Iron Hills Dwarf Warriors, arguably the best infantry in the game, with fight 4, strength 4, defense 7, and they're quite amazing. After all, as I had said about Dane, they then become even more amazing, which turns the army into Felbeast Killer with the Fearless Dwarves combined with Dane. In addition, they can sacrifice it. They actually can also go up to defense 8 if they're in a special formation. This is most helpful against shooting, because in combat you'll get knocked out of formation pretty quickly. But they even can have defense 6 crossbows with spears, so it's quite amazing indeed. And even though they don't get the same high defense as the other guys, it's still quite effective to have defense 6 crossbows. They also have goats, which are some of the best shot cavalry in the game, in the fact that they have, first off, only fight for, one of 2 fight for strength 4 lance wielders, so they can really kill stuff really quickly, often wounding defense 6 on 4s when they charge, which is nothing to laugh about with 4 dice. They also can knock infantry models down on a 5-up, which is great if you want to nullify someone like Thranduil or Azog if you've gotten them to be on foot, because on a 5-up they're knocked down and can't strike back against any of your models for that turn. And if you somehow win the fight, you deal a lot of damage. They also, in Erebor Reclaimed, they have a multitude of heroes. Not only do they have the Iron Hills captains and Dane, but you have so many of the champions of Erabor, and pretty much the vast majority of the champions of Erabor are all excellent options to play. Absolutely amazing models. In the case of Gloin is a personal favorite of mine. Dwalin is essentially a better version of Gloin, like he's just even more amazing, tearing through really just about anything, because he has the same aggressive stats as Dane, can wield 4 axes, or 4 attacks with his 2 axes, and he can piercing strike as well, which means he can get above his strength 5, and he can get go. Gloin can't, but for his points, he's probably one of the best just a bit under 100 point heroes that you'll find in the game. Definitely better than the Iron Hills Captain. So there are a ton of a variety of heroes. The Iron Hills Captain is solid for a captain, but as I said, Gloin is better, and if you can afford the points, Dwalin is definitely better than Iron Hills Captain as well. We also have the best troop killer in the game in this army, and that would be the Iron Hills Chariot with the Champions of Erabor. They can't have a regular chariot, but they can have the champions on top. And not only is this great because every impact hit is 3 strength 6 hits. This isn't quite as much as a Mumuk, which can go up to 4 strength 9 hits, 9 or 10. I think it's 9, yes, 4 strength, 9 hits. However, when you have a Mumuk, they have 4 attacks that fight 4. The champions of Erebor will have 9 to 10 attacks, depending on whether they charged or not, at fight 6, with Dwalin being there, plus they can heroic strike, and this essentially means that they are not losing the fight unless they have lower fight value to begin with, and even then, they're pretty much guaranteed to get a 6, especially if they're going to burn might. It is an extremely good troop killer in this way, and especially against cavalry as well, because it counts as cavalry against cavalry, and it's extremely dangerous to warriors and heroes as well, especially with Dwalin being on top of it. It is quite powerful. The heroes in this army, as aforementioned, they're great troop killers and great hero killers. You know, the troops are great troop killers and even can kill some lighter heroes. And yeah, the heroes can kill troops and heroes alike. It's quite effective at removing enemy threats. It has a quite amazing army bonus of Thorn being a 6-inch banner if you have a pure army. However, the downside to this army bonus is you absolutely must bring Thorn to bring it. It works well with allies. However, if you bring an ally, you lose the army bonus. But yeah, this army does blend in very well with casters and other, allies. I'll talk about that in the strategy part. It also has lots of free / lots of might, so it has many heroes that can get free might or free heroic actions, and as well as a lot of might in it, depending on how you build out the army. The chariot also has 10 might in itself. Cons: small numbers. You have very expensive infantry and mid-level to expensive heroes. Captains, and the other one is it's slow. Even with the Goat Riders, they're still moving 8 inches. It's slower than other forces. The other con is Captains and Thorn, if not on a pure list, only work when you have the advantage. This is pretty much saying that they only work when you're on the front foot, because they really can't do much killing, both with Strength 4 and 2 attacks for the Captains, 3 for Thorn, but they really can't do that much killing if they haven't charged to get, in the Captain's case, 6 attacks, with +1 to wound, and in Thorn's case, 8 attacks, Strength 4. Obviously, this can be harder because Thorn can kill some guys, but it's quite hard if they're defense 5 or higher to kill even just 2. Mathematically isn't going to happen that often, so you don't get to move on that often with Thorn if you didn't charge, which means that if you're losing priority or losing the roll-offs, you're not doing as much killing with Thorn and as much combating, and same with the Captains, and also goats are easily removed on both these heroes. They're some of the tougher cavalry, but like most mounts can easily be knocked down by Sorceress Blast, Panic Steed, or simply losing a fight once and someone rolling a 5 to kill them. The exception, of course, to that usual one is Dane, and the fact that both the Iron Hills Captain and Thorn pretty much rely on having their mount. Like the likes of Dwalin can still do a lot of killing, even if he's dismounted, but Thorn and the Captain are going to struggle, because obviously, they're either 2 or 3 attacks, and the Captains only fight 5, which is why the Captain's ability blends in with the only if you're on the front foot. Because if you lose priority, you're still spending might to call heroic move. You're not getting free might. So you have to win priority in order for the enemy to call heroic move that you can then copy. So essentially you have to be winning that, and then you have to win the roll-off to continue moving, or you always have to be moving first. So that's the problem, is the Captains and Thorn, they really rely on you having your way with them in the movement phase, as well as not getting bogged down too heavily in Thorn's case. If he has 5 people against him at once, he can't heroic combat. If he has 4 against him, he might be able to heroic combat and then kill even more, but 5, it's not possible. So yeah, how would you play this army? I did mention pretty much what you have to focus on. Are you going pure or not, first off? This is an army that, unlike Iron Hills, which you should absolutely play pure, the Erebor Reclaimed very well cannot be played pure, because even though Thorin's army bonus allows you not to bring a banner, unless there's, gaining banners in a scenario or you have nothing else to do with the points, which I doubt, you pretty much run into, you have a 6-inch banner. Thorin's amazing. If you aren't bringing Thorin, then you definitely aren't going pure, probably, unless it's maybe lower points. And if you are going pure, you have to bring Thorin, really. For, well, lower points, as I said, maybe not, depending. And yeah, you might as well not go pure if you don't bring Thorin. And as I said, he needs things to go right. The exception, as I said, is if Thorin has his army bonus, he is a 6-inch banner, even if he is not getting his heroic combats off, or he's been dismounted and isn't killing too much, he is still a banner, a very big banner, and is still helping your army out a ton. Casters, Radagast and Saruman are both quite good for different reasons. Galadriel can keep your guys from getting transfixed and whatnot, so your heroes can do even more killing, so those are all good ones. Other allies is, before crossbows and Iron Hills goats came out, I played the Iron Hills spear and shield guys, because no crossbows or goats were out, with Revendell Knights and Galadriel, and Gloin and Dane. I actually have a journey vlog on this, and I almost tied with Devin for DCHL Devin for placement. He just had his our forfeit game, which had actually been against each other, he had done better in. So it actually was quite an effective combination to add in the Rivendell Knights and Galadriel. So this army works quite well with adding in allies to provide that extra magical support or speed and shooting support, though they now have it because the models have been released at this point. And yeah, so this is an army that is great at killing and can be great at utility if you add in the allies. It also has it is really a good army at staying and not dying, because the heroes are staying, your troops are staying, just huge defense across the board, which is an amazing pro that I think I may have forgotten to mention. Their staying power is amazing, their shooting is great, and their heroes and troops, as I said, are just great at killing enemy heroes and troops. So if you like to be able to kind of hang back for the most part, sometimes I have to move forward depending on the shooting war. Killing a lot of enemy troops and heroes and not dying, as well as to have the option to either have a great army bonus, in which case you are susceptible to magic, which is a big con, I forgot to mention, or you can bring in magic support to help your heroes and really be a very versatile and tough army unit. And that is, if you like that, this is very much a good army. If you like really fast skirmishy, this isn't so much for you. Or if you like hordes, this isn't an army for you. But yeah, that is Erebor Reclaimed, my personal favorite army. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Support your Hobbit hobby, and Akman Ruki Astu. Thank you.